Recent occurrences in the local film industry threaten to turn Wally Wood into Wally Not At All. This is then, for your viewing pleasure, Anatomy of a Fiasco. Okay, deep breath, here we go. It's 2005 and the New Zealand Actors Union, Actors Equity, votes to become part of the Media, Entertainment and Arts Alliance, or MEAA, the Australian Union.
You can join for as little as $3.40 per week.
That's a cup of coffee!
Fast forward to 2010 and 3'7" Limited, the production company for the two Hobbit films, receives a letter from the MEAA's parent union, the International Federation of Actors, FIA for short. They say because the production plans to hire actors under non-union contracts, they've advised their members not to accept work on the film.
Until such time as the producer has entered into a collective bargaining agreement with the MEAA, providing for satisfactory terms and conditions.
But this blacklist was voted on in June and added to their agenda in April, well before contracts for The Hobbit were drafted and before the films were greenlit. A marvellous piece of precognition there. In a letter to MGM and New Line Cinema, Simon Whipp, the National Director of the MEAA, tells them about the FIA resolution and tries a bit of classic agitation.
As the financing and distribution arrangements surrounding The Hobbit appear fluid, I thought it best to correspond with both MGM and New Line as to a developing situation regarding this production.
On the 24th of September, the MEAA releases a fact sheet making the blacklist public for the first time. On the 26th of September, Peter Jackson sends out a press release, and it's all on.
In that statement, the Academy Award winner says, "The Australian Union is a bully boy trying to get a foothold here, and if the boycott goes nuclear, production of The Hobbit will move to Eastern Europe with dire consequences here."
2 days later, members of Actors Equity meet and agree not to accept work on The Hobbit until a fair solution is achieved.
All we are asking is for fair and equitable terms and conditions, minimum terms and conditions that our colleagues overseas enjoy.
Meanwhile, everyone goes apeshit.
The sky is falling, the sky is falling.
You too? This is just old school industrial relations.
I think it'd be impossible to have any discussion about The Hobbit on the agenda.
I'm utterly bewildered.
Oh my God.
Nestled in all of this is an argument between Actors Equity and SPADA, the Producers Association, over the Pink Book, the industry's guidelines for individual contracts.
Why do most of us live hand to mouth and have to work in other jobs to make ends meet?
It's not like that in other countries.
Actors Equity says they've tried to negotiate minimum conditions with SPADA, but claims the door's been closed.
We would love to get in the room with SPADA. We would like nothing more than to sit down and negotiate a standard contract that, you know, you can argue across the table, in the end you shake hands and you go, that's something we can all agree on.
However, it's argued Actors Equity is the one avoiding meetings.
For 4 years, I can tell you, since they targeted Outrageous Fortune as an individual production and subsequently The Cult and subsequently This Is Not My Life, the producers' organisation, SPADA, have tried to sit down with MEAA and discuss what it is that we should do going forward. They have refused to come to meeting.
Both SPADA and Jackson claim that they couldn't discuss an industry-wide agreement because it's illegal to collectively bargain with independent contractors. That's a view supported by the government's legal advice. That's disputed by the union, though, whose own lawyers suggest the Commerce Act allows for lawful ways to meet.
What will stop this standoff?
A meeting.
A meeting. That's all we've asked for.
Meanwhile, Paul Holmes joins the apparent legion of over 50s men who really don't seem to like Helen Kelly of the CTU.
A word beginning with S, and then a creature that eats grass and produces milk.
Stupid cow.
He is a fantastic
What do you know about show business?
film
What do you know about the
director.
film industry? What do you know about international studios? What do you know about international actors' unions?
On the 14th of October, SPADA, Actors Equity and Simon Whipp finally get to the table in a meeting chaired by Jerry Brownlee. And the country wonders why our film industry had to almost collapse to get them in the same room. Film technicians march in Wellington protesting Actors Equity's stance on The Hobbit.
They want to be represented in this very bizarre and strange events that are going on right now.
Simon Whipp and Robin Malcolm get YouTubed looking like they've just snuck out of a midnight screening of Salo. Peter Jackson appears on Close Up and Campbell Live, claiming the MEAA is trying for a power grab in New Zealand.
Simon Whip, the guy who's in charge of the MEAA, did an interview with the Hollywood Reporter a few weeks ago where he said that one of his goals was to unionise the New Zealand film industry, and he was going to use The Hobbit as a way to achieve that.
So there is not some Australian with his or her hand up your bum operating you like a puppet?
We are...
Suddenly, the blacklist appears to have been lifted. Or was it?
We've been told that the blacklist has been coming off every day for like the past 3 weeks. We've been told tomorrow it's coming off.
British Actors Equity has not lifted the blacklist, nor has the MEAA. Now that's hardly resolved.
Not true.
That's hardly resolved.
That's not true.
We didn't threaten a boycott.
So why did the Screen Actors Guild put out a statement saying we've withdrawn the boycott?
Well, we lifted it over the weekend.
So there was a threat of a ban. You can't lift something that's not there.
Oh, look, I don't know.
Rallies were also held in other parts of the country, the biggest of those in Auckland, where hundreds turned out.
Executives from Warner's fly in to nut out a deal with the government. And on the 27th of October, John Key rides in on his white BMW.
Well, I'm pleased to announce an agreement has been reached between New Zealand, the New Zealand government and Warner Brothers that will enable the 2 Hobbit movies to be directed by Sir Peter Jackson to be made in New Zealand.
Media coverage subsides and the curious get to pick the battlefield clean. Who was right and who was wrong?
We just want a fair deal. That's all we want. We're not millionaires. Some people are, but not us.
The terms and conditions for actors on The Hobbit were really good, and there was not one single New Zealand actor who wasn't going to be treated fairly.
That's as accurate a rundown of the Hobbit-related carry-on as I can make. Don't ask me to do it again, because I won't.